everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Lisa Neff-Wheeler, realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I'm here today with Jonathan Hawkins. Hello.
Hello.
Jonathan is the owner of Hawk Insurance Solutions. Hawk Insurance Solutions is a full-service, independent insurance agency located in Raritan, New Jersey. I've been looking forward to the interview to learn more about Jonathan and his business and, get to know you a little better.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is wonderful what you do. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
So how have things been?
Not bad. Busy, crazy. The insurance world is hectic right now. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's the end of the year for a lot of people, right?
End of the year and just a sign of the times. Kind of everybody's insurance is going crazy, and there's a lot of conversations that we have on a daily basis that are just walking people or talking people off the ledge.
We'll learn more about that.
Yes, we will.
So talk a little bit about, I always find it interesting to learn why people chose their profession. So why insurance?
Well, it's interesting. Back in 2011, 2012, I was in banking, and I was kind of hitting a dead end with kind of career prospects and opportunities there. So I was looking for a career change, and kind of stumbled across a listing for a job at Liberty Mutual for a service representative. Now, insurance experience required, licensing required, knowledge and sales experience required. I had none of those. Zero. But I interviewed well. I talked to the manager, and I promised him I would learn better and faster than anyone else, and I would be good. And he gave me a chance, and it changed my life.
That's awesome.
Just learning the ins and outs of the insurance industry, about how things work, about what things really mean, things that you thought you knew what they meant, and they mean something completely different. And it was very interesting, and that engagement kind of really kept me into it and interested and wanting to learn more. So from there, it was, I got into, I did well and I excelled. And so I got into sales, and that was a whole nother ball game and a whole nother kind of a way to learn how everything works. And it's been fantastic. It's been amazing. I wasn't a kid thinking I was going to be in insurance, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot of people might think it's boring. It is the most not boring thing I have dealt with in my life. Every day is a new thing. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounded like you were having success at Liberty Mutual.
Yeah.
It's, everyone goes through this, and I went through this, It's time to jump off and do my own business. Yeah. So talk a little bit about that evolution and why you made that choice.
So after about 5 or 6 years of, really having a decent amount of success in sales, and it was great. Like I said, I was doing things that I didn't think was possible with kind of where my career was at before. It was really a great feeling. And I got to the point where kind of I got at a crossroads with my career, where it was, do I live a kind of maybe a comfortable kind of existence and stay with one company, represent one brand, which I loved, I really do. And kind of live that kind of, smooth existence, or really try to take a shot and for a multitude of reasons, mostly being able to offer different companies and really doing what's right for the customer and truly doing what's right. In other words, I have options. I have there's a way that I could even be better at my job. And that's really what it came down to, where it was, kind of a choice of comfort or really trying to do something great,
Gotcha.
And I'm really happy that I chose to do things the way I did.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, when I started my business, what surprised me most was you have to put boundaries around your family and your business, because you could do your business 24/7.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit for you, what has surprised you most about owning your own business?
I think that one of the things that I always talk about when I talk about opening a business, or anybody that kind of is in my position now, I had the good fortune of timing when I did it.
Right.
I think I was really naive, but I think I had to be, right?
Yeah,
Ignorance really was bliss in that, because I kind of just thought, things are going to just fall into place and they're going to happen because maybe I was good at, at selling insurance. I'm good at that. So everything's going to be easy. And I worked with, had some relationships. Oh, it's going to be No. When I got on my own, the absolute number of hats that I have to wear
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
it's not just now it's not just having to be good at one thing. It's having to be good at 10 or 15 or 20
Oh,
different
yeah.
things. You know, it really is. And the one thing about me though is I really appreciate that kind of challenge because that's what kind of keeps me going, keeps me wanting to learn more, keeps me wanting to do more. So now I really relish the challenge of having to be good at these different things. And it's easy for me to pinpoint my weaknesses and figure out where it's good and where, you know, what needs improvement. And that kind of, like I said, that kind of thing just keeps me going every day. You know, that it's a thirst for knowledge, a thirst to be good at what I'm doing. So, you know, I guess to answer your question, it really was, I didn't know what I didn't know. You know, that's probably the most surprising thing, but I'm happy. It's not for everybody. That kind of thing could really sink somebody. But I knew me as a person that even if that was the case, that I would be able to handle it. And so I really had to dig deeper down in myself, and it's been an amazing journey.
It's cool. So I have to read this, so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Your mission statement says that your organization is dedicated to providing the right coverage at the right price to every client. So describe your processes, because that's a very bold, and I had to go on top of a mountain type of mission statement.
You know, I chose those words very carefully because, you know, a lot of people are very price focused when it comes to insurance. And I completely understand that. And budget, especially these days. I mean, I was in 2018 when I started, when I wrote that, but now it's even, I mean, more important with everything, with the way things are going. So, you know, budget is a very, very high priority concern for me, but it's always second to me to coverage. And so our process and the way that I have handled clients and having these types of discussions is I have what's called a keeping watch over you insurance review. Right. So when somebody calls in, I have a client intake form. I call it my cliff. So I have it laid out to where I'm asking questions about your background. The first thing I want to know is about you. I don't even want to know anything about your cars or your house. I don't want to know. I want to know about, hey, tell me what you do for work. Tell me what you need. Tell me, about where you live. Tell me about your kids. Tell me about your family. Tell me about anything. You know, I want to learn about you first. I have a whole section that. Then I start talking about, tell me about your house, your home, tell me about your cars, tell me about, what you have, tell me about, what you need to protect. And so by doing that and by having these conversations, I'm listening to things that they may not even realize that they need. So, an example would be something like, I have a dog or whatever. Well, maybe on your current policy, you don't have enough liability coverage if God forbid something happens.
Yeah.
So, or you may need an umbrella if you have a rental, unit that you're renting out to somebody. You might need an umbrella. So things like that, where I'm listening for cues and listening to what people, so I can make recommendations and customize a policy. So that way, when I'm presenting a policy or a package to you, I'm not just giving you numbers and I'm not just giving you, here, this is it.
Yeah. No,
you need this because, you have to have this because I recommend this because. And so coming from that position, it's a position of education. I love educating a consumer. I always ask a lot of questions. Do you know what this means? And if you don't, it's okay. Because a lot of people don't want to admit sometimes that they don't know something, right? So, do you know what this means? And if not, it's okay. I'm happy to explain it. And I try to make that statement just like that. And a lot of people honestly say that, no, actually I don't, or maybe I did, but I forgot. And so I come at it from a place of education, and I use it as an opportunity to teach clients and to teach consumers kind of what these things are. So that way, when I make a recommendation, they know what it is, and they more importantly, know what it isn't.
Yeah.
Right? Because in insurance, that's super important.
Oh yeah.
So it's a whole process. It's a whole procedure that I have that kind of it's step by step, where it's intake, education, proposal, and then ongoing service. And then once we write a policy, it's not the end of it.
Right.
A lot of times with a lot of transactions, this as a realtor, if some people, they have a spot and that's it. They never talk to the person again. People like us, we need that relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly checking in. I'm calling them at their renewals. I get notifications that their policy's renewing, and especially these days, there's big changes on renewals. So,
Oh yeah. I mean, when we had Ida, we had to, like, they just moved our insurance to some other thing because of the flood damage in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's what we're trying to be as proactive as we can be, especially with people that are having significant changes. That, like, hey, listen, this is what's changing, or hey, this is your new payment. Maybe we could reassess things, or even down to hey, has anything changed this year? Oh, you have a kid, or have you gotten any new animals? Have you gotten anything? Or just seeing how things are.
Gotcha.
So that's our big thing, is kind of from start to ongoing. It never ends. It's never ending. We want to make sure that you're consistently protected.
That's awesome. So, what would your customers say about your business?
Well, hopefully good things. No, I have, the most consistent compliment that I get, and it's something that is kind of a mandatory minimum for me, is that how responsive we are. So, I get a lot of, and I have 2 account managers, and I have an assistant for myself, an agency assistant. And, one of our biggest things is, if somebody calls or emails or whatever, if we can't get to them right away because we're on an appointment or whatever, we just get back to them as soon as possible.
Right.
Even just an email, just, hey, I got your message, I'll give you a call, or whatever. So, and I think that really makes us stand out against a lot of our competition, because a lot of our competition doesn't seem to do that. I had recently a client that I wrote a policy for, and not only did save a bunch of money, improved his coverage, and it was just a home run all around. The reason why he called me, he's like, I got my renewal, I emailed my agent 3 times, he never got back to me.
Oh wow.
And so he called me, I picked up, got his information, we talked, presented him quotes, wrote his policies. Then he even had a horrible time trying to cancel his old policies, where the agents just ignored him.
Oh man.
So literally, I have an email when it's like, we were on an email chain together, and he wrote, "This is why you're my agent."
That's cool.
Yeah, so I said that's one of the most consistent comments that I get, and it means a lot to me. So that's whenever I get something that's like fuel for me too, just to keep going. Sometimes, especially these days, it's easy to get burned out, and it's we have a lot of clients, and one of the most important things too that I try to focus on as an agency. We're a smaller agency, and I'm really happy with the way that I'm growing. I'm growing at a very steady, consistent pace. And I like to call myself a boutique insurance agency. What I mean by that a lot is, sometimes you'll call an agency, especially you'll see a bigger name, or you'll see just a larger agency, and they just have people, manning the phones, they're getting information, they're running through quotes, and then that's it, right? We really like to focus on each client, one-on-one, give you the time that you deserve, and really focus on, finding those things that you need, making the recommendations, and getting you protected properly. And I think that makes a difference with people.
It does. Because there's not a lot of people that do this anymore. I mean, that whole customer service piece is difficult to find these days. It's
one of the most memorable things somebody said to me is I deal with a lot of new home buyers, and that's where I get a lot of my business. I focus a lot on home insurance. And one of the best comments that I ever got was I was talking to somebody, a young couple, maybe in their early 30s, buying a house, and they were kind of surprised about what I offered and how I did it, and they were like, you know what, they said, we're starting to realize that we want what our grandparents had. That's what she said, and I really took I took that as such an optimistic outlook of my career. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm 38, and I have hopefully a very long career ahead of me, and that it really made me happy to hear that, and it's true. I think a lot of people are, there's this kind of pullback on this, I guess, this generation, if you will, of people that, there was kind of a extreme swing on the pendulum to, direct consumer online, and et cetera, right? And they kind of realize that there's no soul in that. There's nothing in that,
You're just like a number or an email, and that's it.
Exactly. It's very hollow, and that's not, and that works for some people, and that's okay. Like I said, the way we approach things is not for everybody.
Yeah.
But when we find the right people, which I'm so proud to say that we have a great clientele of people that work for us, that, the pendulum is swinging back the other way. And that, like I said, that word of mouth is getting out there that like, no, this is a person that cares about you.
That's awesome.
So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that's great. So what is something most people don't know about your business?
So along the same lines of that last client where, I kind of explained what I did and they were a little bit surprised, when I tell somebody, one of the first questions I ask too when I'm working with somebody is, have you ever worked with an independent agent before? And invariably the answer is usually no. Right?
Yeah.
And I explain what I do. And I say, listen, I work with you. I take your information. I learn about you. And I go out and shop your policies around and find you a policy, customize a policy for you. And a question I always get is, okay, how much does this cost? Nothing. You as the client do not pay anything more than you would if you did this by yourself. However, you're getting the reassurance of somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that's licensed, somebody that's able to make recommendations, somebody that can interpret and understand what things mean and explain them to you in a way that's understandable. And yet you don't have to pay for any of that. So, when I explain that, people are very surprised. People are very, very, sometimes skeptical of that. And I have to explain, like, no, it's okay. Like, listen, there's insurance companies and the way that they pay the agents and all that stuff, they pay me to put you in a good place. But that also, and I also explain, that's why it's really important to have an ethical agent. It's really important to have somebody that does the right thing. And one of the things that I focus on very, very strongly with my account managers and just myself, because it's the way I am, I have to be able to sleep at night. I'm the type of person
that's how
has
I
to
am
be
too.
able to sleep at night. If I ever do anything even remotely off, it eats at me. So that's just the way I am. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, like, you'd rather have an insurance agent that cares too much than one that cares too little. and I care too much a lot, but but things like that are what lead me to, like, this morning I had somebody call me. I was getting out the door. I got a call from a client. My unit flooded. My rental unit flooded in Jersey City. What do I do? Sit down, get all his information. During Ida, I'm on the phone at 1 a.m. with a client. That's having water in their basement, is freaking out. I'm like, it's okay. This is what's going to happen. And I explain what, the process and everything. So it's that kind of trait that I have that I think also separates me. But it's not just me. As I said, my two account managers, Tanya and Tammy, they are fantastic. They have the same kind of moral compass and ethics that I do. And it's that pervades, that really, exudes out, because that's the type of people that we attract, and that's the type of people that we are.
Cool. So talk a little bit about what the future holds for you and your business, because you said you're going at the pace where you're comfortable, steady growth.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what's the grand vision. Where do you see your company going in the short term and the long term? So,
it's an interesting question, because there's a lot to consider. The insurance market, the personal insurance market right now is very, like I said, strained. I mean, people are getting crazy renewals and it's tough to even write business. Whereas, before, if I got a new home buyer, I might have literally 10 options to present somebody. Now I'm make maybe 2, maybe 3 if we're lucky. It's
because of everything that's happened in this state. I mean, my parents live in Florida part of the year. I mean, forget it.
We're not, that market is the craziest in the country. Yeah. We're not far off from there.
Oh man, really?
We're really not. We're only like 1 or 2 bad storms away. So pray for good weather. Or I just say pray, or anything. Whatever you do it for good weather. But no, so that's part of our business is, I think, what we do really well. It's what we specialize in. It's the personal side. Agencies of my maturity, of the age of my business now, kind of generally tend to start going into commercial now, and I have, and we do some smaller businesses and all that. I think a part of the future plans of my agency are at this point we're looking for a larger office space at some point, more permanent, really set down roots in the community type of space. Once we have that, I think that, we'll get some permanent in-office staff, where we'll be able to write some more medium and larger commercial risks. And that's a whole nother side of the industry that I look at as a challenge to learn. So, and I have, and we're, we're working on that, I don't want to stray too far from what we specialize in. And like I said, as far as what, how we operate and our growth and our, our focus, I don't want to lose that. We're never going to be a high volume, get through the calls, get through the quotes, the type of agency. That's not in my philosophy. And that's not, I won't let that happen. I don't, there's people that do that and make a whole lot of money and do great.
Right.
That's not us. I'm more about long-term relationships. I'm more about, being there when things happen and being there for good and bad and having that kind of, I personally just want to be like that type of person.
Yeah.
And that's how I enjoy being. And being a business owner, back to those things, I have the luxury of being able to do that.
Do what you want.
Yeah. So it's been great. And like I said, there's a lot of opportunities to fail, right? As a business owner, there's a lot of ways that you could fail. And there's really only a couple of different ways to be successful.
Right.
And so that's where I'm focusing, and that's where I want to focus my growth and do what's right for everybody and that way. And like I said, every time that, I haven't hired in a long time, the people that I have been with me for a long time. And I take so much pride in just being in some small way responsible for somebody else earning wages, and it's the most base level, but it's such a great feeling, that I could contribute to the world in some way like that, to somebody's life. And so, when the time comes, which it will soon, that I'm hiring again and we're bringing people on, like, I don't take that lightly. And it's such a wonderful process to do that, so yeah, that's our future.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been very enjoyable.
Thank you. It has.
I really appreciate it.
Me too.
And to our audience, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Lisa Neff-Wheeler, Realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty. If you have a business and would like to be featured, please reach out to me at 732-267-1204. Take care. See you on the next episode. Bye-bye.